WWE Backlash is this Sunday, May the 6th, 2018, in Newark, New Jersey at the Prudential Center, home of the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to predict that here in a minute, so stay with me. But before I do that, I'm going to obviously plug Across the Goal Line, so be sure to go follow and subscribe to Across the Goal Line on all social media. Links are down in the description below. But also, before I predict what I think will happen at this upcoming first co-branded pay-per-view for WWE since June of 2016, right before the latest WWE draft. They have had two superstar shakeups since then as well, but right before the latest WWE draft, that was the last time WWE had a co-branded pay-per-view. And now, obviously, other than WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble, all the other ones were brand exclusive. All the pay-per-views moving forward now, though, are co-branded, so we'll see Raw and SmackDown Superstars on both, on every single pay-per-view from here on out. So be sure to go follow and subscribe, as I said. But I'm going to review what happened this past Friday at the Greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The show kicked off with John Cena and Triple H going back and forth at each other. Really a good match when it was all said and done, I thought. John Cena ended up picking up the victory. Both these guys are faces of the company. I said it last week in my predictions video for the Greatest Royal Rumble. I really didn't know who was going to win because both these guys have been faces of the company and will be faces of the company for years to come. I believe both of them combined have 30 WWE championships. So it was hard to predict who I thought was going to win that, but John Cena ended up coming out on top. Cedric Alexander defended his Cruiserweight Championship for the first time against Kalisto after Kalisto defeated everybody else in that gauntlet match last week on 205 Live. Today is May the 2nd. We're into May already. Summer's on its way. Summer's coming, as Clint Black would say. And now we're on the road, I guess, to Money in the Bank after Backlash here, because Money in the Bank will be the next pay-per-view for the WWE. And after Money in the Bank, we'll have Extreme Rules and then SummerSlam. And then summer's going to be over, and then football season will be here. I also have a video out right now as well. It is my review of the 2018 NFL Draft, so be sure to go check that out. That will more than likely be the last video for football until football season starts, until I give you guys my 2018 college and NFL previews. So from here on out, you'll see me doing WWE videos here on YouTube, also on Periscope as well. If you caught me on Periscope last week, thanks for tuning in. I'll be on Periscope again this Sunday night for WWE Backlash, which I'm predicting right now, or I'll get to here in a minute. I'm reviewing the Greatest Royal Rumble at the moment. But I'll be on Periscope as well for some live events that I'll be watching, giving you my live reactions of that. So thanks for tuning in last week. As I said, I'll be on again this Sunday for Backlash. And then probably for NXT TakeOver Chicago and Money in the Bank in the middle of June. I believe it's June 16th and 17th. Could be mistaken on that, as that is a little over another month away. So... But be sure to go follow and subscribe, like I said a little bit ago. But Kalisto was the #1 contender for this Cruiserweight Championship match after he won the gauntlet match last week on 205 Live, as I said. Cedric Alexander won the Cruiserweight Championship at WrestleMania against Mustafa Ali, the then vacant Cruiserweight Championship. So Cedric Alexander defending his title for the first time. Reportedly, a couple weeks ago, there was going to be another Cruiserweight Championship match at Backlash. Obviously not on the card at the moment. They could change their minds before Sunday, but at this time, at the time of this recording, there is no Cruiserweight match at Backlash, as there was a rumor a couple weeks ago, like I said, there was going to be a Cruiserweight Championship match at Backlash, but at this time there is not, so I'm sorry about that. But Cedric Alexander ended up defeating Kalisto at the Greatest Royal Rumble this past Friday. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, now known as the Deleters of Worlds, won the Raw tag team titles, the vacant Raw tag titles, after Braun Strowman and his tag team partner that he chose out of the crowd at WrestleMania 34, 10-year-old Nicholas John Cone, WWE referee John Cone's son. They had to vacate those, obviously, because Nicholas had a skull. So the Raw tag titles are vacant. We had the Superstar Shakeup. The Bar, who were also in this match, ended up going to SmackDown in the Superstar Shakeup. So, as I predicted last week, and I think everybody predicted last week before the Greatest Royal Rumble, the Bar were not going to win these. The leaders of Worlds, as they're now called, Bray Wyatt and Woken Matt Hardy, won the Raw tag titles. So now they're the Raw tag champs. Hopefully they'll have them hold them titles for a while. I think now, since the Superstar Shakeup has happened, the Raw and SmackDown tag division has gotten a little bit better. I think SmackDown obviously won in my opinion, won the Superstar Shakeup. They got a lot of depth that they can do a lot with. And Raw, they also have depth as well, because they have a 3-hour show versus SmackDown, which only has 2. But the tag title division has gotten better, I'd say, in the past 6 months to a year. So hopefully the leaders of the Worlds will hold on to the Raw tag titles for a while. The Bludgeon Brothers, and key note about the Greatest Royal Rumble, when I get to the winner of the Greatest Royal Rumble match, all 4 former members of the Wyatt family won their matches and won championships. So I thought that was pretty cool. The next match, 2 former members of the Wyatt family, now known as the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, they defended their SmackDown tag titles against the Usos, who they defeated at WrestleMania to become SmackDown tag champs. So they had a rematch. The match at WrestleMania, I believe, was a triple threat. Let me look back here at my notes. I believe it was a triple threat. I'm trying to think who else was in that match, though. Look through my notes here. Yeah, the New Day. The New Day were also in that match at WrestleMania. So this was somewhat of a rematch. 2/3 of the teams in that triple threat match at WrestleMania had a match here at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So the Bludgeon Brothers, defending their SmackDown tag titles against the Usos, they picked up the win. It was an alright match. It was pretty short, if you ask me. But speaking of the New Day too, and the Bar, who I just got done talking about, looks like they'll be going at it here for the near future. Probably up until, I'd say, SummerSlam, have a little summer feud between the Bar and the New Day, 2 of the most over tag teams in the WWE at the moment. So the Bludgeon Brothers defeated the Usos. Jeff Hardy then defended his United States Championship against Jinder Mahal. He picked up the win, retained his title. There was a bad botch by Jinder Mahal in this match, but it wasn't the worst one of the night. I'll get to that here in a minute. I'm sure you've seen it all over social media, but I'll get to it here in a minute. The next match I want to review here is the Intercontinental Ladder Match, Fatal 4-Way between Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and The Miz. 2 of those members, 2 of those superstars are on Raw, 2 are on SmackDown after the Superstar Shakeup. The Miz and Samoa Joe moved over to SmackDown, and Seth Rollins and Finn Balor stayed on Raw. And Seth Rollins was defending his title. It was probably the best match of the night, as it was on from, if you saw me on Periscope on Friday, it was on from 12 to about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Time in the United States. It was, I believe, 7 o'clock local time at night, whether it was a Friday night or Saturday night, more than likely Saturday night, because they're about a day ahead of us, so they're in the Middle East. But regardless, this Intercontinental Ladder Match, Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship, was, as I said, in my opinion, probably the best match of the night. But Seth Rollins ended up coming away, picked up the win, basically stole the Intercontinental Championship from Finn Balor. There were a lot of great spots in this match. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you go watch it. I really don't know what they're going to do with The Miz over on SmackDown now. He is going to have a match at Backlash, which I'll get to here in a minute. He's going to be going up against Seth Rollins in a singles match for the IC title. Should be the main event, other than the AJ Nakamura match, which now is a non-disqualification match. But as I said, I'll get to Backlash here in a minute. I'm trying to review the Greatest Royal Rumble here as quick as I can. But Seth Rollins, he basically stole it. Stole the match and stole the championship as he retained the title, as I said. What had happened, obviously it was a ladder match. There was a ladder in the middle of the ring. Balor was climbing up the one side, and then Rollins jumped off the top rope off the side of the ring right in front of the announce tables, if you can envision this in your head. He then jumped off the top rope, jumped to probably the 5th or 6th rung on the ladder, and climbed up the ladder and grabbed the belt and jumped down and won the match then. But there, as I said, there were a lot of great spots, especially with the ladders. Samoa Joe, one of the best talkers, one of the best mic guys in the WWE at the moment, maybe of all time. If you wanna argue with that, comment down below. But great match. All said and done, in the end, it was a great match. Said probably the best match of the night. The Undertaker and Rusev then battled it out in a casket match. Undertaker obviously won. The match did go longer than 3 minutes, as his match at WrestleMania against John Cena was about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. But the Undertaker, he only chokeslammed Rusev. He didn't tombstone him, but then he threw him into the casket. And then Aiden English, who's also part of Rusev Day, who now they're teasing it. They teased it on SmackDown last night that they'll be breaking up because Lana dropped her Russian accent. Looks like she'll be joining Rusev Day, and we might see Rusev and Lana be teaming back up, and then Aiden English moving on and doing something else. But we'll have to see, as they just, teased it last night on SmackDown. As today, as I said, is Wednesday, May the 2nd. But then the Undertaker chokeslammed and tombstoned Aiden English, and then threw both of them in the casket. Closed casket. Undertaker won. Never lost a casket match in the WWE. AJ Styles and then Shinsuke Nakamura went toe-to-toe again in a rematch of WrestleMania 34 for the WWE Championship. AJ ended up retaining after a double count-out. I guess the fans over there were really into it from reports I've read and heard, but they really didn't know what to do after the match was over because they didn't understand the finish. It was a double count out. Now the match at Backlash is a non-disqualification match, so anything's going to go on Sunday. So we'll probably see some more low blows, as Nakamura low blowed Styles last night on SmackDown. And I like heel Nakamura. I think a lot of people do. Heel Nakamura better than face Nakamura, but these guys, like I said on Periscope, I don't know if I said it on YouTube, but if you watch me on Periscope, I said I wouldn't mind seeing these two guys go at it for probably the next 8 to 12 months, going up until WrestleMania 35 next year in MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey area, East Rutherford, New Jersey. But well, anyways, AJ ended up retaining double count, but now they got the non-disqualification match. It was an alright match. I thought it was a little bit better than the WrestleMania match, but nothing's going to top that Wrestle Kingdom 10 match from a couple years ago, right before both of these guys came to the WWE, January of 2016. And then Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns went toe-to-toe in a steel cage match, in a rematch as well from WrestleMania 34 for the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar ended up retaining after Roman Reigns speared Lesnar through the cage. And then Lesnar was laying, there was a lot of controversy about this match. Lesnar was laying on the cage outside the ring. They have stated, I don't know how many times before, both feet have to hit the floor outside of the ring, outside of the steel cage, in order to win a steel cage match. Well, it looked like Reigns' feet did hit before. Did see something earlier today that one of Reigns' feet, though, hit, I think it was his right foot, was on the apron, which technically is still part of the floor because it's touching the floor if you look at the video. Go watch it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Go up top to the search bar after you're done watching this, obviously, and look it up. But whatever the ref says is final is final. So he said Lesnar hit the ground first, whether or not it was his feet. His back was touching the floor because the cage was touching the floor. It was at an angle of some sort, but Lesnar retained. Now, Roman Reigns is going toe-to-toe in a singles match with Samoa Joe that was scheduled a couple weeks ago at Backlash this Sunday. I'll get to that here in a minute. So we're probably not going to be seeing Brock Lesnar up until, unless they have him work some live events on weekends, we're probably not going to see him until Money in the Bank in another match. He'll probably appear on Raw in the coming weeks, but we're probably not going to see him in a match until Money in the Bank. And then whoever they decide to have win Money in the Bank this year, as I said, that's a little over a month away. I really haven't thought about who they could have win it. They did have Braun Strowman win the Greatest Royal Rumble match, so I'll give that away now since I'm talking about it. They could have him win the Money in the Bank and then have him cash in, say, the next night after Money in the Bank and defeat Brock Lesnar, and then Roman Reigns is still pissed. I think they might do a thing now with Reigns. They're just going to have him, I shouldn't say lose every match, but they'll find a way to have him not win, whether it be a double count out, a disqualification of some sort, and so on and so forth. But we'll have to see. Just because Roman, he's still not, the fans, there are some fans out there that like him, I understand it, but there's 85% of them don't. So we'll have to see what happens going forward with the Universal Championship with Brock Lesnar. He could be going back to the UFC here very soon, but we'll have to see what happens. Then the main event. The main event was the 50-man Royal Rumble match. As I said, was won by Braun Strowman. Won a championship. They gave him a championship belt, a green championship belt. I had said on Periscope, who knows if they're going to have him defend this in the next couple months, next couple weeks, coming days, whatever. They also gave him a trophy that he obviously could have picked up, but he didn't. He just raised the championship belt. But this Greatest Royal Rumble is supposedly going to be taking place every year, or a greatest pay-per-view of some sort in the WWE will be taking place over in Saudi Arabia, because the deal between WWE and Saudi Arabia is for 10 years, upwards to $200 million. So we'll have to see what happens. Maybe that title is only defended at that event. Maybe they bring it over to the U.S. here and have Braun be the champion of that. But I think he'll be the Universal Champion here very, very soon. So I think that's probably out of the picture at the moment. But we'll have to see, what they do with that as well. But Braun Strowman, as I said, won the Greatest Royal Rumble match. 50 men, first ever 50-man Rumble match in WWE history. Some guys that weren't advertised, that were, I guess, special appearances. They were surprise appearances. Hiroki Sumi, I had no clue who the hell he was watching it live on Periscope. He's a sumo wrestler. I guess the Saudi Arabian, whatever the hell he is, Prime Minister, the Saudi Arabian sports guy that set all this up. He wanted, forget who it was, former sumo wrestler. Well, former sumo wrestler, but he was a wrestler in WWE. But he's been long gone. He's been dead for years. He thought he was still alive. He wanted him in the Ultimate Warrior. Like I said, I can't remember who exactly his name, but he wanted him in the Ultimate Warrior. Obviously, they're both dead. So Vince obviously came up with this, got Hiroki Sumi to be in this Rumble match. Hornswoggle also made an appearance, Tucker Knight from NXT, Roderick Strong from NXT as well, and Dan Matha and Balatunde, who I had no clue who the hell he was either, because I knew who Dan Matha was. He's been on NXT before, but Balatunde, I think I said on Periscope, I believed he was the one superstar that was on Tough Enough a couple years ago, but I could be wrong. I haven't looked it up, nor do I care, because this guy, he's probably going to be in NXT for the next couple years, and who knows if he'll ever make the main roster. He did make his main roster debut, I guess, in this Rumble match, but those were the six, I better say five, 6 surprise appearances after everybody else that was already advertised or that was in the match from either Raw or SmackDown that weren't advertised. We knew there was going to be people from Raw and SmackDown that were going to be in this match that weren't advertised. It happens every year at the Rumble, but other than Braun Strowman winning the most talked about thing after the Greatest Royal Rumble, and the most funniest thing probably ever in the WWE, was when number 39, Titus O'Neil, entered the Greatest Royal Rumble match. Came running down the ramp, tripped and fell, and slid underneath the ring. Go up to YouTube, go up to the search bar here on YouTube, type it in, just type in Titus O'Neil. I'm sure it'll pop up. It was so funny. They actually didn't have the camera angle on him when he tripped. So everybody at home, that's what, when I was live on Periscope, I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then they showed the replay. Then they showed it again. I believe they showed it up to 5 times. And Corey Graves couldn't control himself. Michael Cole could not control himself at the announce desk. As I said, it's probably going to go down as the most funniest WWE moment in WWE history. So as I said, if you did not see it, I'm sure you have. It's been all over social media. But go up to the search bar, just type in Titus O'Neil. I'm sure it'll pop up. But other than Braun Strowman winning this 50-man Royal Rumble match, that was the most talked about thing for the whole event. And, you know, as I said, there were some good matches earlier on, but other than Braun Strowman winning, Titus O'Neil stole the show. We'll have to see what they do with him moving forward. Speaking of Braun Strowman and that green championship belt, they did have the trophy in Montreal, bringing it back to the States. They obviously probably brought the championship belt back as well, unless they're letting that, whoever the hell it is, keep it over in Saudi Arabia. We'll have to see if they have it on TV here coming up or not, because this past week on Monday Night Raw, he did not have either in his possession. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But and we'll have to see what they do with Titus O'Neil. I guess they might be turning him into a comedy act, just because the match that was taking place, Baron Corbin was facing. Who was Baron Corbin facing? No Way Jose. They're going at it in a feud. And then Titus Worldwide was out there. Titus O'Neil, Apollo Crews, and Dana Brooke, who were on Ride Along with Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss this past week as well. So if you have the network, go check that out. It was a pretty good episode of Ride Along. But what had happened, Baron Corbin and No Way Jose were having a match, and Titus distracted Corbin, then literally fell out of the ring, fell off the side onto the floor. So it looks like they'll be moving forward with him being a comedy act just because of what happened at the Greatest Royal Rumble with him tripping and falling. As I said, one of the most funniest things in WWE history, I think. And then No Way Jose obviously picked up the win with a roll-up. But that was Greatest Royal Rumble. Let me know what you think down in the comments below about the Greatest Royal Rumble event and with what happened with Titus O'Neil. But now on to WWE Backlash, as I said, is this Sunday, May the 6th, 2018 at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. As I said, first co-branded pay-per-view since June of 2016. They have had 2 superstar shakeups since then, but this The last co-branded pay-per-view in WWE, as I said, other than WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble, as all the other pay-per-views have been brand exclusive. This is the first co-branded pay-per-view since right before the latest WWE draft in July of 2016, pay-per-view June of 2016. So I'll start with the two women's matches for the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. Nia Jax is going to be going up against her best friend, Alexa Bliss. Bliss is trying to get her championship back. She hasn't wrestled in a while. Reportedly got breast implants. She really didn't need them, but, you know, she has the money. She wanted them, I guess. Maybe Vince or somebody high up told her to get them. Maybe they even paid for them. She has been outside of the ring during some matches. She has cut some promos. Forget what the excuse me on that. I forget what the segment thing has been called when she's been cutting her backstage promos or backstage interviews. Let me know down in the comments below. I've drawn a blank there for that. But Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, Raw Women's Championship. I understand what they're trying to do with, you know, Nia Jax, trying to prove a point. I think everybody likes Alexa, obviously. And like I said, she probably didn't need the breast implants, but she got them. I think they're going to have Nia retain. I think they're going to have Nia hold the title for a while. And then, you know, maybe somebody like Ronda Rousey, you know, gets it. Or, we'll have to see. It's hard to tell. Because reportedly they want Rousey and Charlotte next year at WrestleMania. Possibly in the main event. Be the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania. But we'll have to see. But I think Nia Jax is going to win on Sunday at Backlash. Carmella and Charlotte are going to have so I guess you could call it rematch. Charlotte defeated Asuka at WrestleMania to retain her then SmackDown Women's Championship. Then 2 nights later on SmackDown, Carmella cashed in, has been SmackDown Women's Champion ever since. I think they could put the SmackDown Championship back on Charlotte. I don't think it's going to happen though at Backlash. I think they'll have Carmella hold on to it just for a little bit longer. I think Charlotte will get it back, and then I think Asuka will get, whether it be at SummerSlam, whether it be at Survivor Series or Royal Rumble next year, Asuka will get the SmackDown Women's Championship from Charlotte, and then that will probably help build Charlotte against Rousey at WrestleMania next year. So we'll have to see. But I think Carmella and Nia Jax will both retain their championships at Sunday Backlash. Jeff Hardy's going to go at it with Randy Orton for the United States Championship. Orton last night went out strong with an RKO on Hardy. Normally when that happens, whoever gets the RKO or whatever happens, whoever's on the losing end of that normally wins at the pay-per-view the following week. So during the go-home show, whoever's on the losing end normally wins. Jeff Hardy was on the losing end this past week on SmackDown, so I think Jeff Hardy will retain his United States Championship at Backlash this Sunday. The Intercontinental Championship match, I guess I'll get to next because it has something to do with the United States Championship. They could still flip-flop these titles on each show, even though both these guys on SmackDown, both of these guys in this United States Championship match are on SmackDown, Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton. They could put one of them then on Raw, but we'll have to see. I doubt it because of what happened at the Greatest Royal Rumble. Jeff Hardy retained over Jinder Mahal. It was a SmackDown versus Raw match. And then in that fatal four-way ladder match for the IC title between Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and The Miz. 2 were on Raw, as I said earlier, and 2 were on SmackDown. And then the champion at the time, who was defending, ended up retaining, so they stay on SmackDown and Raw. So I don't think they'll change them up. So I think Jeff Hardy will retain, and then with Seth Rollins being on Raw and The Miz being on SmackDown, another SmackDown versus Raw match for the IC title here at Backlash. United States Championship will be on SmackDown still with Jeff Hardy winning. Seth Rollins, I think, will win and retain the IC title, the Intercontinental Championship. So as I said a little bit ago, it's hard to tell what they're going to do with The Miz at the moment, because if he does win, he'll tie Chris Jericho's record for the 9th time he's held the Intercontinental Championship, 9th reign. If they do have The Miz win it, you should have Jericho come out and challenge him, and then have these two go at it for a little bit, because then Jericho is obviously going to be going back on the road with Fozzy, his rock band Fozzy. I doubt that'll happen, but this is a prediction video, so might as well leave it all out there while I can. And you can't have, and I've stated this before a lot, you can't have both mid-card championships, the United States and the Intercontinental Championship, on the same show. You just don't have enough time. So I think Jeff Hardy will retain, and Seth Rollins will retain as well. So the next match then, I'll get into some singles matches. Daniel Bryan's going up against Big Cass. These two have been going back and forth at it ever since Big Cass returned right after WrestleMania. This will be Daniel Bryan's first singles match in the WWE in a little over 3 years. Remember, his return match was a tag team match at WrestleMania with Shane McMahon going up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So we'll have to see how Daniel Bryan does. He got beat up really, really bad at the Greatest Royal Rumble. His chest was so swollen, thanks to Roderick Strong. He's been a wrestler for how long? I'm sure he's taken worse hits. But Daniel Bryan, he's so much, how do I want to word this? He's so much more over than Big Cass. So Daniel Bryan's obviously going to win, especially in his first singles match in a little over 3 years in the WWE. So Daniel Bryan's going. I could see, like a disqualification happening, or a double count out like we saw with AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura this past week at the Greatest Royal Rumble. But we'll see. But Daniel Bryan, I think, will win. Roman Reigns and Samoa Joe then are going to go at it. Two Samoan wrestlers, not related, as the Samoan family in wrestling is pretty big, but these two are not related. Samoa Joe's been killing it on the mic. As I said, he might be one of the best in wrestling history on the mic. He's been killing Reigns in the promos. I think he'll literally kill him on, well, not literally, but he'll hurt him pretty bad on Sunday at Backlash. I think Samoa Joe's going to win. It'll give him some leverage going back to SmackDown then, to whoever's going to win the WWE Championship match between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura in that rematch, the no disqualification match now in Backlash. Maybe they put him into that, have a triple threat here, Money in the Bank, Extreme Rules. We'll have to see, but I think Samoa Joe will win, and then Reigns, I'll put him back with Lesnar, Strowman, have him do something on their own, but maybe have him win the Universal Championship from Brock Lesnar, but we'll have to see. I think right now, Braun Strowman, who will be tagging with Bobby Lashley in Bobby Lashley's first pay-per-view match in the WWE, he'll be going up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in a tag team match. But other than Roman Reigns, he might be the guy to beat Lesnar for the title, but I think Strowman deserves to be the guy who defeats Lesnar for the Universal Championship. But Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley are going to tag up and face Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, as I said, in a tag team match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they got beat up real bad in their hometown of Montreal, Quebec, Canada this past week on Raw. They did get a great pop, great reaction, as Sami Zayn grew up about 15 minutes from Montreal, and Kevin Owens grew up about a half hour from Montreal. So both those guys, hometown kids, hometown boys, coming back, getting a huge pop. That's a great thing to see in any sport. But Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley, he's getting packed. He might be the guy who defeats Lesnar, but they're putting him He's only been back since the night after WrestleMania, coming back to the WWE in the first time in 10 years after doing some MMA and then being in TNA for a while, Impact Wrestling. But they're putting him together with the right people. I think they're packaging him right at the time, at this moment. As I said, they might have him be the guy who defeats Lesnar for the Universal Championship, but we'll have to see. But him and Strowman are going to defeat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn will probably take the pin, but we'll have to see what happens. I know I say that a lot, but it's hard to tell what WWE's going to do. And then, other than what I think could main event the pay-per-view this Sunday, that being Seth Rollins and The Miz for the IC title, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura are going to have another rematch. This will be the third match in the past month for the WWE Championship. This match now is a non-disqualification match, so anything goes. As I said, we'll probably see some low blows. I think, as I said last week, I picked Shinsuke at WrestleMania. He didn't win, he turned heel. I picked AJ then because I didn't think they were going to have Shinsuke win the title on foreign soil. But now they're back in the States. I said last week too, I think sooner rather than later, they're going to have Shinsuke win the WWE Championship. I think it'll be this Sunday at Backlash. I have Shinsuke Nakamura defeating AJ Styles to become WWE Champion for the first time. Even though he did stand tall on SmackDown Live this past week. As I said, Orton stood tall, and I didn't pick him against Jeff Hardy in the United States Championship, but this is for the WWE Championship. It's hard to tell what WWE's going to do. And like I said, I know I say that a lot, but Shinsuke, I think, will win his first championship on the main roster. He's been an NXT champion before. But Shinsuke, I think, will defeat AJ Styles for the WWE Championship in this no disqualification match at Backlash this Sunday on the WWE Network. So let me know what you think about those predictions, I guess. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe if you haven't done so. All links are in the description below, so just scroll down, click on whatever link you want. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, as I said. Periscope link is also on there. As I said, I'll be on Periscope again at this time. That's what I'm planning, unless something comes up. I'll be on Periscope this Sunday during Backlash, giving you my live reactions of what happens at Backlash. And be sure to go check out the website as well. I put a lot of time and hard effort into it, so be sure to go check out the website. All the links are in the description below. So I'll see everybody this Sunday live on Periscope, getting so you can see my live reactions of what happens at WWE Backlash.